everybody, hope you're keeping safe and well. I just wanted to do a little video about eating disorders and some of the ramifications and consequences of an eating disorder. And the reason I want to talk about this is because we were talking the other day, me, mum and dad, about if I'd have understood what could happen, would it have changed anything? I.e., mum telling me that, you know, my periods would stop and it might mean that I'm not able to have kids in the future, or when mum or dad would say, "Look, Gemma, like, your hair is falling out, or your hair will fall out if you don't start to really try and manage this and work to get better." Because I always was like, I was saying to him, I was always like, yeah, but that won't happen to me. That won't happen to me. I'm not poorly enough. It won't happen to me. And I'm not saying, like, if I'd have had somebody saying what I'm about to say, that would have made any difference. I don't know. I think I was too entrenched in the eating disorder before I got the desperate help that I needed. As we always say, early intervention is key. And mum and dad didn't understand all of these things until later down the line, when they had to educate themselves because the healthcare professionals didn't have a clue. So I guess these conversations that we've been having recently are just sort of, we're having them to, like, maybe steer Seed in the direction we want it to go in. You know, looking at what people need and what they might want. But also recently, you know, there's some people who I'm very close to who are struggling too, and it's that thing all of a sudden where I'm aware of all of the people who need our support through Seed and mine and mum and dad's, but I'm also aware of the fact that somebody I love is struggling, and what would I say to them? So I just thought it might be helpful. I don't know, it might not be, and some of you may find this quite triggering, but it's not to scare you. And by the way, before anybody says anything, it is not a woe is me story when I tell you what I've gone through. It's not. Like, I've been thinking a lot recently about my health and about what I've gone through and about what I'm losing and what I've lost. And it's been hard. It's been a hard process for me, even though, you know, I've been in recovery now, 17 years. It's only just starting to hit home as I've turned 40, the fact that I might not be able to have children, the fact that I'm going to have to be on certain medication for the rest of my life, the fact that I've had major dental surgery and these are coming out in 2 weeks to get my permanent ones on. Like, it's all of these things that I don't think people realise. So for me, I'm just going to do a warts and all rundown of what I've gone through and why, to make you aware, in the hope that it will deter you from going down the same path. I know it's not as easy as that. In the hope that you might be able to reach out and seek support. You know, I know Seed services are paused at the moment, but we are currently, mum and I, starting to wade our way through support emails and getting back to people. Thank you for being patient, because we feel it's really important. But yeah, I just thought I'd give it a rundown, and equally just so you know that you're not alone and life still can carry on at the other side. I did start to lose my hair when I was going through the anorexia. That was a very real thing. I remember it becoming so thin, and my hair was always like my shield, my armour. So to sort of start to lose that was really scary. And I remember sort of going, that what happened to me, that what happened to me. Lanugo, when the body starts to grow hair to keep itself warm. I had that severely, just covered in fine hairs. The good news is that they do go. they do go as the body weight is restored and you become healthier. The lanugo does go, but that's something very real that happens. And the other reason I'm doing this is like, so there's no stigma, so we're just talking about it, right? Because I feel like sometimes people don't address what really goes on for somebody with an eating disorder, and it's glamorized and it's made out to be something that it's not. Somebody who just wants to be thin, or somebody who is lazy, or somebody who is, I don't know. I've heard it all, and blaming social media and, you know, people in the public eye. No, an eating disorder is about something that is going on up here. It's nobody looks at something and goes, I'm going to be like that and I'm going to have an eating disorder. An eating disorder is not a choice. Just putting that out there. An eating disorder is about the person trying to cope with something that they possibly can't cope with or control in their own life. Anyway, I digress. What else? My anorexia then developed into bulimia, where I would over-exercise. So I would eat. It was a strange one. Maybe it wasn't bulimia at that point. Maybe it was, you know, OSFED, or the specified feeding and eating disorders, because it was just a mishmash. Like, my head didn't know where it was. You know, one minute I was eating and the next minute I was cycling or running or doing sit-ups for 3 hours, you know, to compensate for the food that I'd taken in. And my head was going, oh, but you're all right now because you're eating. And actually I wasn't, because I was trying to get rid of it in other ways. And then I remember sort of looking okay, but I absolutely wasn't. I got a stomach bug. And all of a sudden, eating disorder came knocking on my door and went, oh, stomach bug, this is a good opportunity to get right back in there. And then bulimia started, and bulimia absolutely, I mean, even though I'd nearly died from the anorexia, the bulimia was the one that really tore my body apart personally. I had a bowel prolapse at the age of 19. So my bowel came out because of a combination really of being that low in weight that my body muscles were able to hold me in, but also the vomiting, the amount of pressure that I was putting on my bowel through vomiting made it prolapse. It was the scariest thing I've ever gone through in my life, ever. I remember just being absolutely petrified, and mum having to help me, I'm sorry this is graphic, but literally put my bowel back in. Again, I'm telling you this because these are things that can happen and do happen. My potassium levels, I had to go and get my potassium levels checked every week. God bless my doctor, Dr. Barnes, he literally saved my life. As soon as those potassium levels were low, I was in Hull Royal Infirmary and I was on a potassium drip. Because low potassium, you get pins and needles, numbness, flashes in your eyes. Oh, it's just horrendous, and it can lead to a heart attack, which I then did have. I had a heart attack in my early 20s. So that happened, and then my teeth started to erode from the acid. And after I'd recovered and got better, I went to get my teeth done, but unfortunately the dentist who I was with at the time just decided not to treat the teeth underneath and just to put new teeth on rotting teeth. And I was treated with disdain by the dentists that I went to over the years. It was horrendous, so I used to avoid them. Cut to 2 years ago, having to have all my top teeth extracted, all of them, and have a bridge implant put in. The most horrendous thing I've ever been through, again in a different way, just the trauma of that. But fortunately my dentist Harry is just incredible and actually gives care and compassion to me and to anybody affected by an eating disorder. So he's just been amazing in giving me my smile back, and in 2 weeks I get my final permanent teeth, which is amazing. But I'm still having issues with my bottom. You know, like, these things are real, and these things these things happen. The biggest one for me is I don't know if I can have children naturally, even though I menstruate and I'm still you know, producing some eggs. I'm not producing as many as I should. I'm single, and you know, that opportunity might have gone. But even if I wanted to try and freeze my eggs, it would cost me around 20, I think the last quote I got was about £28,000, because they would have to do the procedure at least 5 times to get any number of eggs. Again, that's something that I have to live with. And look, miracles might happen and I might be able to have children naturally one day, but I'm kind of at the point where I'm sort of at peace, you know, that's not going to be my path. So all of these things basically that I was told that might happen, not all of them, but some of them, and I just was in denial, and the eating disorder was so entrenched in me that it was like, don't listen to them, they're only trying to scare you. They happened. Please, if you're going through any of what I've discussed, please don't feel ashamed, please don't be scared. They're all, that you can get through all of them, you know. And it's important to grieve, you know, if you are recovered and you're coming out the other side. It's important to know that you're not on your own. It's okay to feel that loss, but equally, you know, very soon I'll be sharing something called a medical risk video, and it's a 4th lesson that we've added on to our eating disorder educational toolkit for schools. And I just feel so passionate, and so does my mum and dad, about the importance of understanding the medical risk side of eating disorders. So watch this space for that. That 4th lesson is going to be free for everyone. But I don't know if that's helped. I don't know if that's educated. I don't know. But something very strongly in me felt the need to do that and to share it. And again, it's not a woe is me thing. It's just the reality of an eating disorder. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. Recovery is possible, and I am fighting tooth and nail to get seed back where it needs to be. But one of the big things is I'm very, very excited to share the medical risk lesson, and also I'm looking at putting together a lived experience support group, which conversations like this I think would really help a lot of people, because I know that it would have really helped me when I was younger. Anyway, I hope that helped. As ever, you know, you matter. Lots of love.